Welcome to the Risk Taker podcast, man. I'm Ebens, your host, man. How y'all guys feeling today? I hope y'all guys feeling amazing, have an amazing week, have an amazing weekend, man. Listen, man, I have a special guest. Look, man, this young lady, she is shaking the whole state, man. Look, I'm not gonna spoil the surprise, man. But we have Ayanna here, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling amazing,
That's
feeling
good.
wonderful. Thank you
That's
so
good.
much for having me.
No problem at all. No problem. Can you tell the guest? Can you tell our audience who you are, and we go from there.
My name is Ayanna Khan. I am the founder, president, and CEO of the Delaware Black Chamber of Commerce. We are a chamber that's rooted in access to education, resources, and opportunities for Delaware's diverse business community.
Nice. Okay. Awesome. Let me ask you this now. On your entrepreneur journey, what made you took that risk? Because I know you've been shaking the state. I watch you. We see you doing amazing things. Like, what made you took on that risk?
So, backstory.
Okay.
Back in 2015, I worked over 10 and a half years in corporate America.
Okay.
Back in 2015, I got laid off, right? So at that time, and there was a lot going on in my life, both with work and personally, right? So being laid off at 2015, it kind of catapulted me into my entrepreneurship journey. So at that time, I decided, okay, I'm not going to go back the traditional route of corporate America because there's always going to be a transition, right? I'm going to take a risk and start my own business. I am second generation entrepreneur. I saw my dad build a business, a global business from scratch,
Nice.
starting at home and then advancing globally. So it's always been in me. I've seen that. Um, so being laid off pushed me into that journey. Started my own small business and used chambers of commerce to leverage my
Okay.
business, and it worked for me.
Okay.
Joined a couple of chambers, sat on the board of one of them, and then the global pandemic hit. The great old COVID
19.
19, right? So 2020, I was at really a turning point in my life where I realized that the urgency and the needs for businesses like mine were not being addressed. And we are in the time of a lockdown, social unrest in our country, and I felt like there just needed to be more urgency. So I pivoted, took another big leap,
There you go.
founded the chamber in a lockdown. Everyone said, "Are you crazy?" A little bit.
Especially when you go after your dream. I'm glad that you mentioned that people are gonna call you crazy. Now, some people are gonna doubt you. No, and some people gonna support you. Some people are not gonna support you. Um, did you? Well, you find that to that journey. But go ahead, finish your story.
Yeah, so for me, Delaware has many chambers, right? We have, what, 17 chambers. Folks are like, we don't need another chamber, but yes, we do, because there was not one that's addressing these unique challenges in the pandemic where these businesses were either misinformed or not getting the resources that was out there. For myself, I got PPP 2 rounds forgiven twice. Businesses like mine didn't. So I'm like, okay, we have a gap here, okay? So I definitely saw the need, saw the vision, despite the naysayers. Like, we don't need another chamber, but yes, we do. Besides not having the support, some of the things was like, well, who is she? She just popped up on the scene, but I've been on the scene, right? I've been watching and observing and having my own lived experiences in the business community, so I knew what needed to be addressed. So for me, the attacks was coming, and I know that comes with it.
Yep.
I'm a firstborn. I'm a Taurus. So I was unbothered by that. I'm like, listen, we're gonna keep doing what we need to do, and for that, I think it like solidified that this was definitely needed in our community. And from day one, we made, partnered with the state of Delaware. Millions of dollars in pandemic relief that diverse businesses had no clue about or how even to get it. And
All right, risk takers, quick break before we dive back in. If you've been building, grinding, and betting on yourself, it's time your wardrobe matched your mindset. Owig apparel isn't just clothing, it's a statement. From the bold risk taker hoodies to the signature dream chasers tees, every piece is designed to remind you why you started. Shop now at owigapparel.com because when you walk in purpose, your clothes should speak before you do. Back to the episode.
we did that for them. We completed those grants, not just for Black businesses, for Hispanic, Asian, white businesses, owners. We completed, those grants for over 127 businesses in the state of Delaware, over 2 million in funding, and you know that's where it took off. And we knew at that point this is what we needed to do. We needed to be here to provide the technical assistance, to provide the education, to provide the access. So it's been a journey, it's been a risk. I even had my parents saying, are you crazy? We're worried about you. I'm like, no, don't be worried, don't be worried, trust me, it's gonna be all good. And here we are 5 years later.
Wow, that's big, man. You say a lot of things. I'm gonna go back to the beginning. You say your dad had a business, and you see how your did you learn anything? Did he give you any advice? Um,
Yeah, so for my dad, I just observed. Um, so I'm Trinidadian, and he took old oil drums. Trinidad is known for oil, old rusted oil drums. And he made those into nice, shiny, brand new steel drums, or steel pans, we will call them. And then he took that culture globally to Cuba, to Nigeria, to Europe, to other islands, and to the U.S. as well, where he taught at universities. How to play that. He reads and writes music, and he makes these oil drums, and then he expanded from doing that in the backyard to like bang bang, you hearing that, you seeing that. He's just focused day in day out, hours after hours doing that. I observed that teaching in Japan for 17 years on the steel pan culture, just observing that work ethic. And now he's living his best retired life, right? And just observing that work ethic really resonated with me, even though it's completely different industries. But as an entrepreneur, you have to have that passion and that drive, and that will carry you, really.
yeah, and you mentioned the work ethic, and most people what they don't have. Some people have they have like the vision, they have the goals, but they don't have the work ethic to make it happen. Because you could have the vision, you could see all the things that you could do, but if you don't put work behind it, it's not gonna, like, you can't make that dream come to life. And you make that happen. You had a vision, you saw a need, and you went after that need, and you help people. And I could see that, and I know we know each other, and I could see that you're not just saying that, you're really truly helping people, especially business owner that look like us, or that Hispanic, Asian. Truly, you truly helping them out. And I was reading something, and I think it was online, that you won was it the 2023 National Chamber of the Year, and that's big. That's big for a chamber, because like I said, I've been watching for a chamber that just started 5 years ago. You won a national thing. How did it happen?
Have you ever felt like you're building something with no blueprint? Just hustle, faith, and late nights holding it all together? Then this book is for you. Building from scratch, from hustle to strategy. How to build, scale, and succeed in business isn't just a book. It's a playbook. Written by the dynamic duo behind this very podcast, it's packed with the real lessons, mindset shifts, and step-by-step game plans They used to build from absolutely nothing. If you're stuck in hustle mode, but ready for strategy, this book meets you right there. Grab your copy now at the Dynamic Duos speaks.com because your next level requires a new strategy.
Yeah, so um, when before we launched, I did research. There's major chamber federations throughout the country, right? The National Black Chamber was one of them. Reached out to them, as well as the U.S. Black Chamber, which is the head of all, and reached out to both, and they said, listen, Delaware's never had a chapter. I've heard stories, unbeknownst to me, that Delaware has had those attempts I wasn't aware of, but on a national scale, we just were not there. So they were excited, and they said, yes, launch, we're here to support you. So after 3 years in doing this, and finding out that we won National Best Chamber of the Year, fastest growing chamber in the country, I was blown away. I was like, are you serious? Because there's hundreds of chambers and black chambers throughout the country, and we did that, and it was just amazing because they saw what we were doing. They seen the impact. Like, the data speaks for itself. We're talking about millions in capital back to these businesses, hundreds of businesses served just in that 3-year span, making legacy and legendary impact here in the state. For the first time ever in 2022, the state of Delaware started collecting demographic information on the businesses that were here. That was never a thing, but we advocated for that and has come to pass. We've advocated to streamline the state's certification process. That has now come to pass this year as well. And we've advocated for minority goals in state contracts, which last year that bill got passed, but we still have a lot to do where that is across the board for all state contracts. So they've seen the impact and what we've done. We have real life case studies, right? Evidence and results. And they've noticed that even got recognized in Africa, so across continents, folks are seeing the impact that we're doing. I'm like, Stevie Wonder sees the impact at this point. If you haven't seen it, you might be under a rock. But for me, it was never about that. So every time we get a recognition, I'm just so grateful. My mind is always blown because I'm like, I'm in the trenches. My head's down. I'm working. And folks are like, do you realize what you've done, what you're doing? And I'm like, not really. Sometimes you just don't have the time to focus on that. I'm like, there's so much to be done. Like, it's a laundry list of things to ensure that we have equity for all. We've made baby steps, but we're not quite there yet. So it's always like amazing to get the recognition, and just so grateful because we didn't have to, right?
Yep. Through this journey, how fate has played a part in your journey. How fate and
Faith is important. I think that it helps build confidence and provides a strong foundation where when you're rooted in faith, you're really unshakable. You're really kind of invincible, right? I got my faith cap, my cape on. I'm focused. I know that I'm rooted in this passion and this mission, and my faith is strong, so I'm unshakable. So it plays a huge part along with your support system and your tribe. So it's super important to keep the faith and know that, this is for a bigger reason. This is needed. This is providing impact to our community and just, helping others. I'm always like excited when I hear all the good success stories. Like, hey, Ayanna, I bought a building. Hey, Ayanna, I hired employees. I'm like, oh my God, yes. So, faith definitely carries me.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you another thing, because as entrepreneur, because we keep on going, right? Have you had in your journey, have you had like a low voice that could come and say, you're not gonna make it, or you didn't do the right thing, like, because throughout the journey, because I know I've been there, like where either people doubted you or you have that voice saying, no, what did just happen? No, have you had anything like you feel like quitting because you went to a challenge and you feel like quitting? And I think as an entrepreneur, we don't talk we talk about the success, but we don't talk about like the failure that we have to go through, the challenge that we have to go through, and sometimes it's hard. Now, it's hard. Like people don't talk about. People talk about all the success, but like, what's one challenges that made you really say, "No, what, man, is this for me?"
Man, the challenges have been many.
Okay.
Um, in the process where I'm journaling all the time, and I really want to publish my journal and write a book because the challenges have been yes, the challenges have been many. There are times where I'm like, oh my gosh, are you serious right now? Um, and a lot of the challenges come from people, right? Um, and there are times where I'm just like, this is a lot, this is too much. But for me, it's not really about quitting, but in that moment, just stepping back, taking a break, taking a breath, making sure my self care is on point, and just continuing the mission, because it is a mission. It is a calling, really. I believe I was called to do this because I've heard of the attempts previous, but not on at this magnitude. So when the challenges arise and it gets rough, I lean into my family, my support system, my faith, but definitely not quitting, because who else is going to do it? Who else is going to do it right? Right? So I feel like this is my calling. There's absolutely, quitting is not an option. Quitting is not an option. I ran track for many, many years. Um, and I know one of my coaches used to always say, blood and guts or nothing. Just leave it all out there, right? So that stuck with me. They say it's blood, sweat, and tears. It's literally blood, sweat, and tears. But you cry, and then you get back on the front lines and do what needs to be done. But I haven't cried in a while. So that's positive. That's positive. The challenges are still there, but now I have thick skin. Now I just like block all the noise. I block it out. And I'm like, I know. I just tell myself, okay, what will go wrong will, right? You can expect that. Murphy's Law, or whatever it's called, like you can expect that there's gonna be something. There's always gonna be obstacles, but you just gotta keep focused. So, it's great. I might need a cleansing cry soon because, but it's all good. Like it comes with it. I think, but we definitely have to find an outlet to let it out, and with people that understand, right? And they just know because they have the same lived experiences. Else you're gonna drive yourself crazy. But you need an outlet. You need a break.
Yeah, that's very true. I was gonna say, like, how, like, did you find mentorship, like, throughout this journey? Like, did you find mentorship? How did you invest in yourself? Because that's the biggest thing as an entrepreneur, is investing in yourself is one, and finding a mentor. Like, how did you do these things?
Definitely a mentor is required, but I found out that I needed a mentor in the chamber industry. So my chamber mentors throughout the country, the African American Chamber of New Jersey, the CEO John Harmon has been doing this for 21 years. He's been a great mentor, sounding board. The National Black Chamber family really, their legal team there, and those folks, like, they are great mentors just based on experiences. They've been in this industry for many years. I think they've been awesome because it's a different beast, right? Understanding all the intricate ins and outs, being a nonprofit chamber, and those are people I can call, 10 o'clock at night, say this is happening, and they're like, well, did that, been there, done that, and this is how I navigated, and this is what you put, potentially need to do. So I love my tribe. I love my chamber family. Mentorship is important. And not just any old mentor, but someone who has experienced what you're going through, who've been there, and can help, lift you up and provide realistic advice.
Yeah. Do you find it, has been the CEO, the president of the chamber, has been a black woman? Do you find certain room that you go in, like, do you find like challenges, like especially being a black woman? Just gonna put it out there because you the CEO of a chamber. Like, how do you navigate through that?
Yeah. So here in the state of Delaware, for example, Delaware has a chamber association. I know when I first penetrated that group, all white faces. Literally, I was the only face of color. Black and black person. It was all white male and females. So it was definitely a thing, because they also didn't understand the need or why I was here. I wasn't accepted, to be honest. I wasn't accepted by this group. It's a whole nother podcast.
Part two.
Yes, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Uh, so, and I knew that was going to come with it. But I, again, staying steadfast in the mission and the journey. And I think I really want to thank that group, actually. They solidified it for me that, okay, I'm needed in this space. Because, as a black woman entering these white spaces and not being welcomed, for the most asinine reasons, for me, solidified that this was needed. I was needed in this space. They needed a little color, a little diversity.
Yep.
It's more than just bringing in, black businesses into your chamber, accepting their membership and taking their money. It's more than that, right? So we've created a safe space where everyone's welcome. Everyone, it's a family, right? I always say, welcome to the DEBCC family. For our folks, because that's what it is. You feel welcomed. You don't feel shunned, closed out, uncomfortable. Because I fit in every space. That's just me, my confidence. Some call it ego. I call it confidence, being rooted in the mission and the vision. But it's not easy. But that confidence builds over time, where you can just navigate any space regardless. I've been the first and only in many spaces, but that's why I always try to bring my folks with me. Hey, come along with me in this space. Or I think I'm not the best fit for that, but I know someone else who is, right? Just bringing my people along and sharing resources with them, so the rooms can look more diverse and we can feel more comfortable and welcome.
Yeah. Okay. Now, last question for you. For any entrepreneurs out there, like, that's on the leap to take they want to start a business, right? Or they've been in this journey for quite some years now, and they want to pivot, or they want to take that risk on this business. What advice would you give any entrepreneurs out there?
Definitely stick to your goals. First of all, know your goals, know your mission, and stick to it. Stay rooted in that. Find your support system, find your people, find your tribe, find folks that are in the same industry. And it doesn't have to be just here in the 3 counties of Delaware. There are folks nationally that will support you, right? You know, sometimes they say strangers will support you better than your friends and family. That's a fact.
That's a very true.
That's a fact. Network, because knowing the right person can take you so far where your resume may not take you. So networking is important. But write your goals down and stick to them, right? Take a break if you need to. Definitely don't quit. Pivot if you need to. There's some things you need to change if you need to. Like, there's a lot. It's not a one size fits all. It's not black or white. It's a lot of gray areas, a lot of, ups and downs, peaks and valleys, but find your people and hold on to that. Hold on to your faith. Journal, find an outlet. Self-care is important, right? Take care of yourself so you can continue to come back. Because folks are like, I see you everywhere. How do you do it? I'm like, I'm the Energizer Bunny, trust me. But I sleep a lot.
That's good, because people be like, yo, do you, you don't need no sleep. Like, especially people in the internet, like, you don't need no sleep. No, chase after your goal, chase after your purpose. You don't need no sleep. But like, speak about that, like taking care of yourself, taking breaks, because through our journey, my wife and I, like, we found out that like taking breaks in between help us our relationship, our business, our kids, like spends on that, like.
Because you have to be there for the family. I know there was one point where my family was sick of me, okay? My kids were like, Mom. And I'm like, okay, so now I know, like, we have to take a family vacation every year. And then, the hubby and I, we take our own separate thing. You make that time. I love Saturdays. I love the weekends. Some weekends I have to work, but for the most part I do. But I love the weekends. I'm sleeping in. Then we can do a late breakfast, having that quality time. The little things matter. Yep. Taking those walks together in the evenings. Finding a time to shut off. I had to learn that the hard way. Literally the hard way. Because a few years ago, I'm like having a panic attack. And I'm like, what is going on? Am I dying? Like, what is it? I'm hot. My heart's, I'm flustered. And the doctor had told me, like, slow down. Like, what are you doing? Like, so take care of yourself, because if you don't, no one else will. And who else is going to do the work when you're gone, right? Sure. So the work will be there tomorrow and the day after and the day after, but you have to take care of yourself. And just the simple things, even if it's just meditating, journaling, walking, just find the time for you and your family, because, it's crazy. It took me some time even to get back into a space where, I have someone in my life that's supportive. But before that, it was like, okay, not everyone can deal with that. So find your people who's going to understand, who's going to support, and find a balance so you don't make yourself crazy. That is so important. But even during the week, for me, it's the weekends, but, finding those breaks in the week. So.
I like that. I like that, because people don't talk, like, seriously, people don't talk about it. People just talk about the grind. Like, I got to grind, but take it, like, they don't take breaks. Like you say, like, the mission, you have a mission, you have a vision. If you're not here, like, who's gonna carry that for you? So, and finding your tribe, like, I'm listening to all this, like, it's like, I wish, like, in the beginning, like, some stuff, like, people say, like, I wish I had known it in the beginning, like, through this journey. But you have to go through these things for you to learn them. So I'm glad that you mentioned that, taking the break, finding your tribe, and finding a person that's gonna support what you're doing. The person, we always say that the person doesn't have to be in the same industry as you. No. But if you have a supportive wife, a supportive spouse, now the person is supporting you. Yeah. You're gonna go far.
You're gonna elevate.
You're gonna elevate.
Absolutely, and that matters, because who you have in your circle either means elevation or you just backsliding.
Yep.
That's important, and you always know. Okay, where am I at? Taking that self assessment. Where am I at now, and how am I doing now with these individuals in my life? Right. My circle is like a dot. It's gotten real small, because you can identify. You really have to just be self aware, because not everyone's for you, and that's fine.
That's true.
That's fine, right? So, and we're so used to the hustle and the grind. No, we want the soft life now. We want, things to work for us and on our behalf. So, finding the right people makes all the difference. It really does. So, I love it. Um, I love what I do. You have to love what you do.
Yep. Yep.
Because if you don't love it and you don't have that passion, you just gonna be like, ooh, looking crazy.
Yep. 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 You said something, but I was gonna say something. It just slipped my mind. Now, where people could find you, like where people could, like the organization, where can people find you? Find the service of the Delaware Black Chamber.
Yeah, we're online. DEBCC.org is our website. Our contact information is on there. Email, you can reach me at email@debcc.org. And we're headquartered at 321 East 11th Street, downtown Wilmington. By appointment, don't just pop up. Because a lot of times we're in the community as well. And we have a super lean staff as well. So, call, email. We are very responsive to our community, and we're here to help, as always. So reach out. We're here to support from A to Z for the business. And even personally, right? Folks are seeking housing and they call us for help. We have contacts far and wide. So it doesn't matter what you need. Give us a call. We're here to help you.
Nice. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There you have it. Listen, man, we're gonna see you in the next episode. Thank you very much, Ayanna. Thank you very much for coming. We inside the OIG mobile office, man. So listen, man, I'll see you guys in the next episode. I'm out.